Well, no particular order, right? We brought through the sales process that we were getting a lot of requirements for AS9100 certification. It's kind of how it started. So we did a search for a local company come in. We read the reviews and kind of landed on Jer-nee as our go-to for that. So we brought Tricia and her team in to start the whole process. We're a very small, relatively new company at the time, and we brought her in to help us with process and QMS with the desired end state to be AS9100 certified. They came in, they did a fantastic job, right? She brought in a team of 4 or 5 people for the kickoff, kind of laid out what it was going to look like, built out a plan. As we started that process, there were lots of other unknown challenges at the time. And one of the things I really appreciated coming out of Tricia and the company was we found out very early on after I brought them on, we found out that we had a huge problem with inventory control. And though it was not initially scoped out, a phone call and a short conversation to Trish and her team, we pivoted pretty much the entire team off of 9100 to help us with inventory management, inventory control, all the policy and procedures and processes to kind of get that in place. The end state of that over the course of Jer-nee being within the company, if you look at it, over the last coming up on a year now, was millions of dollars in savings, which was huge for a company like us, right? We had some very significant challenges. She came in, her and her team came in, firmly grabbed the reins, drug everybody in, got all processes all laid up, and since then the inventories that are done monthly and quarterly have been wildly successful compared to what they were the previous 2 years. So that was one of the biggest takeaways from their engagement with us, the most hard-hitting financially for sure, right? The process from them has been very good, right? And Trish and I would have weekly tag-ups to see, and we had some challenges, right? Change is hard, adoption is slow, getting everybody working off of the same set of guidelines proved to be quite challenging for them, but they have been able to plow through it, right? We started this thing in April with the certification a year later, and given the heavy lift of that, to only be slipping 2 months is wildly successful in my mind, right? Given the challenges that were discovered along the way. The company is very, very good about pivoting and focusing resources where they need to be. We had some employees that we had to let go. Configuration manager comes to mind, and April has been the acting configuration manager for us for the last, 5-6 months, which was good because that whole section needed a realignment as well. And then when it came to backfilling those positions, Jer-nee has been very good about reaching out to their network, finding us the easy button, right? Or I'm like, Tricia, you know somebody? Yep, I know a couple people. And then we get resumes and we interview and we hire. And that took a lot off of my plate at the time, continues to take a lot off of my plate. It all just happens kind of magically. From that aspect, it's been a great relationship, fraught with challenges and hard problems to solve. And they've just done an outstanding job as a company, walking us down the correct paths to get us to ultimately where we want to be, which is AS9100 certification. So that's, I don't know, do you have any specific questions?
Yeah, usually for these, this is actually the best. Just letting you kind of tell from your perspective and your journey, if you will, no pun intended, but your journey of the partnership, what that brought for you guys, and then that outcome. And like you said, it's great to be able to just understand from that side of things, right, where it saved money, where it helped bring things in line, and how it accomplished the goal, and of course the end goal of the certification, along with everything else. So that's
I mean, a couple of the other heavy hitters, right? Is we had a software suite in place that was either too big for where we were or not big enough for where we wanted to go, right? And after a lot of meetings and discussion, right, we were able to capitalize on Jer-nee's recommendations for their software licenses, as well as take advantage of their discount on those software licenses. That saved us, a couple $100,000 a year on those as well, right? Making really good recommendations. A lot of work went into engineering and how we do things and capture things and get things approved through ECOs and that whole process, as well as their help optimizing those software suites to make it usable for us, right? Software is kind of an interesting thing, right? It comes with a lot of bells and whistles that you may not necessarily need. And they were critical to the information they passed on as this is what you really need right now. This is going to be good for you for the next, 24 to 36 months. But as you continue to grow, here's things to think about if you decide to pivot away into another software suite, right? But they gave us they kind of gave us a 3-year plan on what software we need to be using and how we needed to organize it. They help us set up the dashboards and all those kinds of things, which just saved untold amount of hours of labor, right? By optimizing using the latest and greatest software suites configured for our use. So that was a good news story, right? We saved a lot of labor with them helping us get those up and running and getting them set up and setting us up for success.
That's fantastic. Yeah, a lot of times with software, I know we own an IT company as well. And I can tell you, it's like if it's not right fit for where you are or the stage, it can be the best software ever. But if you're not utilizing it right and it's not the right fit for where you are in that walk, then you're just wasting money and time.
Yeah. And there were a lot of challenges, right? Well, first you got to get people on board. People fear change, right? Change is hard. So it was a lot of brute force to start, right? But then it just becomes part of the daily routine. And in the end, the labor dollars invested in a particular project just come way down because we got the software tuned and tweaked to what we need to support it, right? It's always hard on the front end, but you start to realize the gains on the back end for sure, right? And it's just, and they managed to navigate that very well, right? And helped us form some significant business decisions on how we want to task organize going forward, and where we had holes that needed to be plugged, and we're still plugging those. Yeah, it's been a good experience. I know it was hard on them because we were small, but going back to kind of the weeklies with Trish, right? She would give me a laundry list of things that I needed to influence, which then I would go off and do, and kept the ball rolling. But overall, I mean, would I make a recommendation to somebody else who was in a similar circumstance? Absolutely, right? The thing that I would, if I had to give anybody advice that was looking at bringing Jer-nee on, I would tell them that the more work they do up front in prepping the team, the better. That was probably one of the shortfalls on my part. I'm like, hey, here you go. Here's 5 people, and they're going to be getting in your chili, right? And you need to embrace that because it's going to be better at the end. Yeah, that was a challenge. My shortcomings, their interaction and expertise was just critical, right? The fact that we're, light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah, they've done a fantastic job, and I would highly recommend them to anybody else.
Fantastic. Well, that's exactly that's their goal, right? And Trisha she's a genius like that. She's great at coming in, from what I can see and what I've just witnessed in even a short period of time, coming in and being able to identify the gaps and the holes and really put together, plans that smooth things out and overall save money. You're right. Everything is work up front if you want it to be smoother on the back end. But I'm glad to hear that you're able to work through the challenges and really move forward into a good place where you have a plan and you're in progress of moving forward. So
it's been a very, very positive relationship from my aspect, right? Because the get was, AS 9100, and it is scheduled, right? So we have another month and a half, 2.5 months. Yeah, we have a path to get there, and 90% of the people are on board, and the others I will manage to completion.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. There were a lot of challenges on our side. Nothing on their side, but just on our side. We go, hey, this is adapt or die. Yeah, we have to get this done. It's a thing. Happy to have her, and happy that she extended a couple of months to get us through it all.